This video was all set to feature and analyze Oregon's quarterback Dante Moore, as in his skill set and mechanics. But after watching the Ducks 30-20 loss to the Indiana Hoosiers on Saturday, I've got to include Fernando Mendoza into this because he's earned it. This is QB Unfiltered, my take. Two quarterbacks who showed up for a street brawl.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever...
Okay, I've said this for the last 3 or 4 weeks now that the handful of quote-unquote elite quarterbacks coming into the 2025 season have taken a back seat to the guys that were flying under the radar before the season started. And after the 5 or 6 games this season, you can start placing all of these quarterbacks into the following categories: really good, good, average, underperforming. I think Indiana's QB, Fernando Mendoza, is in the really good category. And I think that Oregon's QB, Dante Moore, is straddling the line between good and really good. The jury's still out in my mind with this guy. And they went head-to-head Saturday in Eugene, Oregon, in a Big Ten matchup of 5-0 football teams. And as I said in the beginning, this was a street brawl. Okay. You can talk about the quarterbacks for both teams. You can talk about the playmakers on both offenses. These two teams took the gloves off in this game and they were throwing shots the entire game. Big time hits on defense. I think that the game came down to the line of scrimmage for both teams. And in the end, Indiana won out. Now, I don't think Dante Moore did anything in this game to tarnish his reputation. I just don't think he stepped up to the plate as much as people thought he was going to do. Now, Indiana's defense had a hell of a lot to do with this. And I think Mendoza in this game separated himself a little bit into that really good category. And he did something in the second half, which puts him into the dude category as far as quarterbacks go, in my mind. We'll talk about that as we go. As always, please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel, QB Unfiltered. I greatly appreciate the support. Okay, I'm going to start with a generic breakdown of Dante Moore. He's a 6'3" sophomore from Ohio. He played his high school ball in Detroit, Michigan. Now, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, and he signed with the UCLA Bruins to go play for head coach Chip Kelly. In 2023, he started 5 games for the Bruins, throwing for 1,610 yards. He threw 11 touchdowns, but he also threw 9 picks. So after that season, he hit the portal and ended up in Eugene, Oregon, which is a pretty good landing spot for quarterbacks. I mean, in the last few years, they've really produced some big-time dudes. And his first year there, last season, he backed up Dylan Gabriel. And now this year, he's the guy. So going into this Indiana game, Dante Moore had thrown for 1,210 yards. He's hitting on almost 75% of his attempts, which is pretty dang good. And he's really got a great touchdown to interception ratio of 14 TD passes and 1 pick. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to give you a generalized breakdown of Moore's game and then specifically get into his head-to-head matchup with Fernando Mendoza and the Indiana Hoosiers. The first thing that strikes me about Dante Moore is his overall demeanor. And that's both on the field, just his overall general demeanor, how he handles himself on the field, in the huddle, on the sideline, but also how he conducts himself and his demeanor in the pocket when the ball is snapped. He is one cool customer, very calm and very steady. And if you've listened to this channel before, you know that I put a ton of stock in that as a QB skill, because every offense will take on the characteristics of their starting quarterback. And when you watch Dante Moore on the sideline, it's the same look, okay? Very calm, very stoic. And I think, he plays the same way when the ball is snapped. So you don't see him get frantic back there. Now, a little bit of this started to creep in the second half of this game, and we'll talk about that as we go. Okay, he's got pretty decent feet back there, when it comes to his normal drop, but at least in this Indiana game, and I'm going to show you some clips to back up what I'm saying here, he looked a little sluggish back there in his first step or two after receiving the snap, and a little sluggish at times trying to avoid immediate pressure in his face. Moore's got good arm strength. Not great, but good arm strength. He can change his arm slot when he needs to. Okay, we saw him chuck a couple of punch screens out there where he dropped down, shortstop, turning the double play in baseball. He's got pretty solid throwing mechanics, okay? Good solid ball carriage. Doesn't have any wasted motion when he throws the ball. Wasted motion, the biggest culprit is guys that drop the ball down to their waist and then have to bring it all the way back up to get it out. He doesn't do that, so he's pretty efficient in throwing the football. So my overall impression of Dante Moore, and I've watched a couple of his games, but really focused in on him in this Indiana game, is that he can make plays when the offense is in sync and his teammates are coming to the party, right? I'm not sure if he's a quarterback that has enough of a skill set to put a team on his back and go win a football game by himself. Okay, I don't know how many quarterbacks are like that walking around college football, but I'm not so sure that he can do that. Okay, that's my general analysis of Dante Moore. And as I said earlier, this thing's going to morph into a 2-quarterback video because the more I watch Fernando Mendoza, the more I come away impressed with this young man. So here are some generic thoughts on him. First and foremost, if Mendoza played in a pass-first offense that ran tempo, he would be leading the country in passing. He would have huge numbers, and his receiver, Elijah Surratt, would be averaging about 15 or 16 catches and about 200 yards a game because that guy is a beast. But Indiana wants to run the ball first, and that's the way it is. Now, I said this 2 weeks ago when I talked about Mendoza's game against Iowa, is that when he can throw the ball in rhythm and tempo, when he's able to take his normal drop of 3-step hitch and throw, he is a machine. He puts the ball right where it needs to go, tight spiral, pretty throws, and he puts it right there. One of the best things that I like about Mendoza is this, and it happened a bunch in the Iowa game, but it also happened in this Oregon game. I'll show you the clips. He stands in the pocket and delivers the rock when he knows he's going to get his ass kicked, meaning if you've got an offensive lineman who gets beat, or more often than not, a running back who gets beat in blitz pickup or just elects not to even touch a blitzing linebacker, and Mendoza knows that he's going to get whacked, tattooed, he stands in there and delivers the ball. He's physically tough. Okay, so in this football game, Dante Moore was 21 for 34. For 186 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and 2 picks. Fernando Mendoza was 20 for 31 for 215 yards, 1 touchdown pass, and 1 pick. And before we get into the game clips, here's a couple of quick observations. Number 1, early in this game, I wrote down in my notes that Indiana's defensive line may be a problem for the Oregon Ducks. And I think that played out for pretty much the entire game. Moore was sacked 7 times in this game. Now in this video, I'm going to try to stay as positive as I can on this topic. If the Indiana Hoosiers coaching staff does not get this fixed, then they're rolling the dice with Fernando Mendoza staying healthy the entire season. And what I'm talking about here is the pass protection from the running back position position when they get blitzed. Signetti and that coaching staff has got to get that fixed. With that said, let's jump into some of the game clips. We're going to go in chronological order here. This is Fernando Mendoza's second best throw of the game. It's in the first quarter. It's 1st and 10. And, he can throw this one in his sleep. It's a back shoulder fade to Surratt on the left sideline. Mendoza makes a play fake, 3-step drop, takes a couple of hitch steps now instead of just his normal one hitch, and cuts it loose and puts it right on the money. This is pretty. Any outside breaking route, Mendoza can throw those things all day long. Back shoulder fades, out routes, sticking the ball in the hole between a rolled up corner and a too high safety. Anything to the outside, he's money. Okay, this play right here, there's a lot going on here. This is 3rd and 10, right? 3rd and 10. And the Ducks are running 4 stop routes, basically running to the stick. So they're running 10-yard stop routes across the board. Okay. Indiana lines up in a cover 2, a quarter, half. The bottom line is, if you look at the pre-snap coverage shell, you've got the left cornerback, the cornerback over the left outside receiver who's up in a press. He's 2 yards off. You look at the cornerback to Dante Moore's right side. He's 8 yards off. Now, as the quarterback, and again, I'm not in the Ducks quarterback room, but we ran this route also when I coached. And as a quarterback, what you're doing on these 4 stop routes with your pre-snap, you're determining in your head who the winner is. And it's got to be based on the depth of the defender lined up over the guy running the route, because these receivers aren't running any breaks when they get to the top of their stem. They're not bursting inside or outside. So this is a matter of them selling the vertical for 10 yards, and whoever can sell the vertical the best, or whoever has the most space with a defender over him, that's the guy you got to go to. So Dante Moore here, if he's keying it or looking outside, he should be throwing the rock to the outside right receiver for a first down. That is obvious to watch here. But instead, he comes to the left outside receiver who's got a pressed up corner, and it's an incomplete pass. Now, you also look at the feet by Dante Moore. So he's in the wrong staggered stance. So if he slowed this down, he takes that extra little cheat step because his feet are jacked up, right? Then he takes a slide step. Then he cross over and plant, and that plant step is big. So what does he got to do here? He hops up to get his feet underneath him in that platform, and then the ball is out. So not only did he key this wrong, in my opinion, before the ball snap, but after the snap, his feet are slow and sloppy. And the end result of this, incomplete pass, the Ducks have to turn the ball over. All right, guys, now I'm trying to keep this video down to a certain time. I left a bunch of plays, a bunch of offensive snaps by the Oregon Ducks on the cutting room floor. They missed so many opportunities in the passing game. I'm going to give you one quick example without video. They ran a shallow cross with the running back running a rail route, which is releasing out of the backfield and going vertical down the numbers, right? Indiana lined up in cover 2, the side that the rail route was releasing to by the back. That cornerback was lined up in a press over the receiver, and they were in a too high shell coverage wise. The safety to that side was lined up inside the hash. There is no way he could have got to the back on that route, and he didn't. So on the snap of the ball, you see the corner sink down with the receiver's route, and here comes the running back running the rail route. The safety is nowhere to be found. The bottom line is Dante Moore doesn't even look at the back, and that was a missed opportunity. That could have been a big play. All right, next. This is Dante Moore's second best throw of the game. Okay, it's first quarter, it's 3rd and 3, and this is the 44-yard touchdown pass. Now, Oregon runs some little bit of nice eye candy here with a tempo twist. So they're in their gas tempo, GAS, which means get your ass set. I like that. Gas tempo. They're going fast. And that's part of the play here, because anytime you're going fast like that, you make the defense line up identify the formation, any type of motion that's going on, and they got to get lined up fast and play fast because the ball is going to be snapped. Add into that the weird little roll they do with Moore here where he just flat runs to the right sideline. Now, the safety here in the center of the field for Indiana freezes on this. Okay, he gets caught staring in the backfield. I don't know if he's looking at Moore with that weird sprint to the sideline. I don't know if he's, a little out of breath because they're running the gas tempo. Either way, he has no idea that this guy is running vertically right down the middle of the field. Oregon runs a nice little scissors vertical concept with these two receivers, and Moore does a great job of getting his feet right, and he throws a hell of a ball here. Puts nice air underneath it and drops it right in the bucket. Okay, so in one of the rare moments in this game, you get the Oregon running back who actually steps up and squares up to an Indiana guy and gets in his way enough where he doesn't get in Moore's face. And in the last part of this play, knowing Indiana's head coach, Curt Cignetti, who is kind of a no-nonsense, fiery dude, do you think that this safety, number one, is going to get his ass chewed in film session on Monday? He's beat. Watch how he tries to recover on this throw, where he just jogs, the last 15 yards of this thing? I don't think that's going to go over very well with Coach Sig. Okay, we stay in the first quarter now. It's 1st and 10, and this is Mendoza's third best throw of the game. And you know what? This is a great example of the offensive coordinator / the quarterback coach who is matching the quarterback's feet to the route that they're throwing. And what I mean is this. On immediate routes downfield, you'll see Mendoza take a 3-step drop where his last step is longer, and then he hitches up and throws, and that times out with the routes that he's throwing. Well, because the Hoosiers are running a quicker route here, look what he does with his last 2 steps of his 3-step drop. He chops those feet down, then hitches up. Okay, so it times out. This is good stuff. The bottom line is here, he had good feet. And like I said, he can throw these sideline routes all day long with his eyes closed. Okay, this is another snapshot of this game for Dante Moore and Oregon. Okay, it's second quarter, 3rd and 3. 3rd and 3. And they're running the stick concept to the right here. And Indiana's sitting in zone. Now, all Dante Moore has to do is just stay with the stick side and read the flat defender. If that guy sinks in with the stick, which he does, you throw the shoot to the running back for an easy first down. If he widens with the shoot, you throw the stick and let him get the first down. But for some reason, Moore goes to the backside and he's throwing that outside slant route. Now, we ran this route when I coached. My quarterbacks were taught pre-snap, if that backside slant is a winner, take a shot at it. But he's not a winner here, and he's not a winner because that cornerback is lined up inside leverage of the slant route. So when that guy sticks his toe in the ground to run that slant, he's running right into the corner. That's where Dante Moore goes on the snap, and he can't throw the slant because the cornerback took it away before the ball was even snapped with his alignment. So I think this is another mental error by Moore. And what should have been a first down on the play side to the stick side turns into a scramble now and a 2-yard gain, no first down. And here's another route where Dante Moore is screwed. It's a second quarter. It's 3rd and 10. They line up in trips, and Indiana dicks the single receiver side where they're running a out route. They dick him by taking that stand-up 6 technique and dropping him to flat so he's underneath that throw, which is fine. That stuff's going to happen. But Oregon doesn't have any options on the backside for Moore. So on the backside, they've got a jogged quick out and then 2 guys running some form of vertical routes. And there's nothing for Moore to go to on the backside. And finally, we got the running back on this play. And here's a great example of the old glance block. So the back here, he's going to do this glance block, and as the guy's going by him, he's going to hold him. He didn't get called for it, but this is a hold, and you can't hear it on this video, but I'm sure he's yelling to Moore, look out, Dante. That happened a lot in this game. And guys, this is how you lose football games right here. Moving on, this is one aspect, as I said earlier, of Fernando Mendoza's game that I absolutely love. It's the second quarter, it's 1st and 10, and he stands in the pocket knowing he's going to get tattooed when he releases the football. Okay, this is a textbook 3-step drop and hitch, and he throws a seed route on that out route in the face of that whack that's coming right at him. That's a result of the tackle dropping his head on pass protection. All right, which leads us now to Dante Moore's best throw of the game, in my opinion. There's 1:50 to go in the first half. It's 1st and 10. Now, the Hoosiers bring 5 on the rush, and the Ducks are running what is called a cross check here with the running back, meaning he's lined up on the left side of Moore, but he's going to cross Moore's face and pass block any pressure coming off the right side, which he does. He just doesn't get there soon enough. Now, Moore is throwing this stop route to his left. He's got to get the ball out of his hand before this guy coming off the edge either slaps the ball or slaps Moore across the dome. Either way, he's got to get that thing out, and the ball is out of his hand before the receiver turns to find it. This is a great job by Dante Moore making something happen in the face of what could have been a bad situation as far as the protection goes here. And now we're in the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 2, and Fernando Mendoza throws a pick 6. Now, the Hoosiers had a couple of pass protection issues here. They're in a 4-man sort, and they're sorting left, but the center misses the A gap. And then the running back, here we go again with the old look out Fernando effort. And after he gets the ball fake here, he's supposed to chip on this 6 technique. He just whiffs on it, right? And now Mendoza makes a bad decision to throw this ball. So Indiana's running a crossing route. And you can't throw a crosser unless you can get your feet right and stride into the throw and put pace on the throw. You've also got a defender now that is trailing that crossing route. So Mendoza's basically throwing this thing with both feet off the ground. He can't get anything on it. So the ball floats. And anytime you've got a defender that is trailing a crossing route and the ball floats with nothing on it, that guy's going to undercut the receiver and make a pick on the play. And that's exactly what he does. Picks the ball off and takes it to the house. It's a pick 6. Okay, now it's what Mendoza does next, which puts him into the dude category for me. The first thing is he jogs off the field, no expression, eyes up, total accountability, total stoic to the adversity. The second thing, and the most important thing, is what he does now on the next drive. Okay, here's the next drive for Indiana. It's 20-20. It's 3rd and goal with 6 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the game. Now, the Hoosiers call their good old automatic, and that is the back shoulder fade from Mendoza to Surratt. Unstoppable. Look at where Surratt is when this ball is released. Okay, and the timing of this and the placement of this. Mendoza couldn't have walked the ball to the end zone and handed it to Surratt and put it in any better of a spot than he did with this throw. This is absolutely perfect throw. Now, this is nut cutting time right here. I'm sure everybody can agree with that statement. The Hoosiers botched the pass protection on this, and you can probably guess that their running back is involved somewhere in that. They're executing a 4-man sort here to the left, and the left guard doesn't sort to his B gap. Okay, that's problem number 1. And then I'm going to try to stay as positive as possible on this. As I said earlier, I want you to check out the effort by the running back here. It's nut cutting time, 3rd and goal, 4th quarter, 6 minutes to go. The game is tied. Oregon brings a blitz. This is the running back's dude. It's a 1-on-1. And watch what this guy does. And that's about all I'm going to say about that. Okay. This one right here, unbelievable that this happened, but it did. And Mendoza made a hell of a throw going to his dude, and this puts him up 27-20. Now, Dan Lanning and the offensive coaches, I'm sure, had a bad night of watching film after the game. The Ducks offense was really, really inconsistent. Of course, Indiana's defense had a lot to do with that, but Oregon didn't play like Oregon. As a result, Dante Moore didn't play like Dante Moore. So as I said at the intro to this video, you know, if you were a fan tuning into this game expecting to see two pretty damn good quarterbacks go at it, you know, and having the ball go all over the yard and that scoreboard ding like a slot machine, this was a street brawl. These guys took the gloves off and threw shots at each other. There was big time hits by both defenses. They were smacking the shit out of guys. And Indiana showed up to this game wearing their big boy pants, and they established themselves as the number 3 team in the country by going into Eugene and withstanding that crowd and a really good Oregon team, and just kept plugging and smacking. And at the end of the game, they made plays in the fourth quarter. I think mentally and physically, they wore the Ducks down. This was a well-deserved win for the Indiana Hoosiers. Okay, let me know what you think, guys. Did I get it right or did I get it wrong? This is QB Unfiltered. And remember, always throw the ball short to guys who can score. See ya.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.